All right, it's time for the video lesson for 4.8, and today you're going to learn how to divide mixed numbers. And we're going to start with example 1. And example 1 says find 1 3/4 divided by 2/5. So just like when we multiplied mixed numbers, the first thing we need to do is make sure that any mixed numbers in the problem are improper fractions. So I'm going to take this and change it to 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7. It becomes 7/4. Once you get it as an improper fraction, you keep, change, flip it. So I'm going to keep it 7/4, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 5 halves. Now I'm looking for some bow tie reducing, and I notice there isn't any because 7 and 2 don't reduce, 5 and 4 don't reduce. So I'm going to multiply. I get 35 over 8, and since it's improper, I'm going to divide. 35 divided by 8 is 4. 4 and 3/8 is your final answer. Okay, so pretty much what we've been doing, just make sure your mixed numbers are improper fractions. So I want you to try problem A. So try it on your own, pause the video, and when you're done, restart it to see if you got it. Go. All right, let's see how you did. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change 2 3/8 to an improper fraction. So 2 times the 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So this is going to become 19/8. Now that they're both fractions, I'm going to keep, change, flip. So I want to keep it 19/8, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 4/1. Okay, did you make it this far? Remember, you can pause the video at any time to fix any work that you miss. So now, bow tie reducing. 4 goes into itself once, and 4 goes into 8 twice. And when I multiply, I get 19/2, or 19 halves. And I'm going to simplify it by dividing 19 divided by 2. So 2 goes into 19 9 times, which is 18. Subtract 1. My answer is going to be 9 1/2. So if you had 9 1/2, give yourself a C. If you didn't, make sure you pause the video and make any corrections before you start. But now we're going to go over and we're going to have you try the next two problems. So I want you to do B and C. Make sure the video's paused, and when you're done, restart it and make corrections. Go ahead. All right, so in B, first, I want to make the 2 1/2 into an improper fraction, 5 halves. Okay? Once you have it as an improper fraction, we're going to keep, change, flip. I want to keep it 5 halves, change it to multiplication, and flip it to the reciprocal 7/3. Now, there is no bow tie reducing in this one, so I just have to multiply. I get 35/6. And when I divide, 35 divided by 6, I get 5 and 5/6. So if you had 5 and 5/6, give yourself a C. If not, pause the video, make your corrections, and then move on. All right, how'd you do in C? So I'm going to start by making 5 and 5/8 a fraction. So 5 times 8 is 40, plus 5 is 45. So this becomes 45/8. Now I'm going to keep it, change it, and flip it. I'm going to keep it 45/8, change it to multiplication, and flip it to the reciprocal 4/3. And there is some bow tie reducing in here, and I bet a lot of you missed one of the spots. So first, 4 goes into itself once, and 4 goes into 8 twice. I bet you all got that one. Now, did you notice that 3 goes into itself once, and 3 goes into 45 15 times? Interesting. So now, if you didn't get it, you can still get the right answer. You're just going to have more reducing to do at the end. If you did get the bow tie reducing, you have 15 halves. And since it's improper, you only have to do 15 divided by 2, which is 7 1/2. 7 1/2. Now, if you had 7 1/2 without bow tie reducing, that's fine. Just bow tie reducing makes your life easier. All right, on to the next page. We're just going to have some examples where both numbers are improper fractions. So I'm only going to go over one example because it's really not that different than the problems on the last page. So first, I want to make sure they're both improper fractions. So this becomes 11/2 and this becomes 5 over 2. Then I'm going to keep, change, flip. Keep it, change it, flip it. Then I'm going to bow tie reduce. 2 goes into itself 1 time. Last, I'm going to solve. I get 11/5, and since it's improper, I'm going to do 11 divided by 5, which is 2 1/5. So the only thing different in these is make sure both of these mixed numbers become improper fractions, then keep, change, flip. All right, so let's have you try some. Try problem D. Pause the video, restart it when you're ready. Go. Okay, let's see how you did. So 4 1/5 becomes 21/5. Remember, I did 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 to get my 21, and the denominator stays the same. So 2 1/3 becomes 7/3. So now I'm going to keep it, change it, and flip it. Keep it 21 over 5, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 3/7. Did you get the bow tie reducing in this one? Because 7 goes into itself once, and 7 goes into 21 3 times. Which gives me 9/5. And I'm going to do 9 divided by 5, which is 1. And 4/5. So if you had 1 4/5, you got it right. All right, let's go over to the next two. Your job is to do E and F on your own. When you're done, hit play and see if you got them right. Go. All right, let's see how you did. So first, I'm going to make it 8 over 1. And 2.5, if I multiply, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. That becomes 5/2. So I'm going to do K, C, F. I'm going to keep it 8 over 1, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 2/5. Now there is no bow tie reducing in this one, so I get 16/5. And when I divide, I get 3 1/5. That's my final answer. All right, now remember, pause the video if you need to make any corrections, because I'm going to be going on the problem F. All right, so F, did you get, first off, it's 14/9 divided by 7/3. I changed them to improper fractions. Now I'm going to keep, change, flip. I'm going to keep it 14 over 9, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 3/7. And this one has lots of bow tie reducing. So 3 goes into itself once, and it goes into 9 3 times. 7 goes into itself once, and it goes into 14 2 times. So when I multiply, I get 2/3. And since it's not improper, it is in simplest form, my final answer is 2/3. All right, so remember, make any corrections you need to before you move on. Last one, we're just going to show you this example down here. So this is a real-world example. Now, it's going to be division, we know, but I want you to understand why it's division. So we're going to look for something being split into equal groups. So this says the average adult male giant panda weighs about 1 1/5 times as much as the average adult female. If the average weight of a male panda is 330 pounds, how much does the average female giant panda weigh? So this one confuses a lot of people because they see the times and they think it's going to be multiplication. But let me show you why this is division. So let me get my work spot. First off, the male is 1 1/5 times as much as the female. So the male, you got to think, the male is bigger when we're talking about pandas. And the male weighs, a male is 330 pounds. And it says, how much does the average female panda weigh? So if you think of this, the weight of a female panda, which we don't know, is what we have to find out, but we do know a male is 1 1/5 times that. So if we multiply that unknown amount by 1 1/5, we should get the male's weight, which is 330 pounds. Now, since we have to figure out what times 1 1/5 equals 330, we figure that out by using inverse operations. So we're going to do 330 divided by 1 1/5. So that's why it's a division problem. So I'm going to start with 330 over 1 divided by 1 1/5. I'm going to make sure the 1 1/5 becomes an improper fraction. So 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So that becomes 6/5. Now I'm going to keep, change, flip. And I'm going to keep it 330 over 1, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 5/6. All right, so now I'm going to do some bow tie reducing. 6 goes into itself once. Now for this one, I know 6 goes into 33 5 times, which is 30. Let me just do a little bit of division here for you. So 330 divided by 6 is 5. Bring down the 0. So that's going to reduce to a 55. Now, our problem should be a little easier. We have to do 55 times 5. That's 25. 25 plus 2 is 27. And the 1 times 1 is 1. So I get 275 over 1. Or, my final answer, how much does the average female giant panda weigh? 275 pounds. All right, so that was a tough one. The bow tie reducing was tough. But the main thing I wanted you to understand is why is it a division problem? And what are you actually dividing? So, that's it with me with the video. If you were absent, I know you have guided practice problems to do, so check your absence sheet. And make sure you ask me if you need any help. As always, thanks for watching.